Thank you for inviting me, Sunes. So what we have, straight into your question, is what we refer to in communication jargon as a current state of information overload. And that simply means there's just too much information everywhere. So you struggle to decide where and when you want to be. And even when you try not to find information finds you, especially in the age of social media and digitalization and all of the things we have. And that's no different from Nigeria. Everywhere else in the world is the same thing. Perhaps why Nigeria is peculiar is because of our demography and our literacy level. So you have to contend with a lot of pre-existing challenges side by side what we have now. There are good and bad sides to this, but I guess that's why we're having this conversation on how we can interact with all of this. Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start. Doctor, let's come to you. You know, we often talk about, voter intimidation, ballot boxes, stuffing, but now we're facing a different challenge with the algorithms, AI-generated fake candidates, clone voices, and all those things. And then the question will be, what are the real threats right now when it comes to the build-up? And it's funny that we're discussing 2027 right now, because somehow people are saying that's an election that really decides a lot for this nation. So what threats are we really facing right now?
I mean, in terms of what we see or looking at information, disinformation, the Nigerian society, what we're seeing is not different from what is happening in other countries, right? So if we go back to the West, especially the last election in the United States, we also saw what happened. But the question remains, what is the state doing about it? I mean, that's the most critical thing. So if you're looking at the threats will always be there because the world is a global village. So like what Chiamaka said, even if you don't find the news will find you. So some of the things you're going to see or you're likely to see, both the disinformation, the misinformation, and the malinformation, there's so many of them, right? So as we march towards 2027, the major question remains, what is it that Nigerians are interested about, right? So most times you move towards what you're interested about. And then the political class, I mean, these are the main issue around here. What is it that they want to make you believe? So what they want to make you believe will now be factored into how they start designing those kind of either disinformation, either misinformation, either malinformation, right? So the threats will now come from the things around us, from insecurity to economy, to politics, to religion, and so on and so forth. I mean, each of these things will play a role towards 2027. How do you handle them? How do you tell the story? How do you misinform people? How do you disinform people? They will always form a room to those things we are looking at. The question now comes back again, like I always say. For me, the state remains the key here, not the government. So what are those institutions of the state that are supposed to be a bit neutral? What is it they will be doing towards 2027? I'll give you an instance. 2 months ago, we had INEC came out to say the election has not started. People should not be putting billboards. Soonest, have you not been seeing billboards?
Enough of them, yes.
What did INEC do about it? Who did INEC challenge? Right? So INEC as an institution is supposed to be neutral. At least not part of the government. So where you're not even sure whether they are part of the ruling government, not this particular government, but in every subsequent government, the question remains, how do you now start looking at the neutrality of the state? If I do not see the state as neutral, I am now allowed to question everything, to even start taking hook, line, and sinker, those false stories, whether they are true or not. I mean, these are the truths.